Hello and welcome back to another episode for 52 Press. My name is Sharissa Bradley, and I am so excited that you are here. We are finishing our 10 steps to publication journey with step 10. We have finally done it. We have completed all of the publication steps, and you should have a published book in your hands, or at least an idea of how to get that book published and understand all of the steps involved to getting that book from manuscript to physical copy in your hands, and a link to share with all of your community as well. Now, what do you do once that book is published or once you're nearing that publication date? Well, some might argue the most important step of them all, telling people that you wrote a book, marketing this book. There are a few steps that you can follow that are pretty universal for everyone, but the most important thing is going to be you being the most authentic version of yourself and showing up as yourself as often as you can in the ways that suit you best to tell people that you wrote a book. There was a reason the book needed to come out into the world, and there are people who are waiting to read exactly what you wrote. So, how do we guarantee that it gets to the right people? Well, I've set up a couple of questions for you to ask yourself to help you with your own marketing strategy. It is important to understand where you're going with this and what your goals are. Ultimately, you'd like to sell the book that you published. Ultimately, you'd like to have readers for your book. And maybe your dreams are even like the sky's the limit, the New York Times bestseller list, which requires you to sell 5,000 copies of your book in the first week that it has been published. Now, that is not impossible because people are doing it all the time. How can you be doing that yourself? Well, a really good content marketing strategy is a good place to start. Marketing your book before it's even published is a really great way to build up some buzz and build up an email list. Maybe even start selling pre sales on your website that you can collect that income for, and you will, as an author, order a bulk order and ship those orders out to your customers. This is an awesome way to just get your book out into more hands. When it comes to marketing, the number one most important question to ask is, who is this for? And when you're asking that question, you may get really, really, really detailed and build out an entire customer avatar so that you know who it is that you're talking to when you are marketing your book. You do know this is what my client needs, this is what my reader needs, this is what they need to learn. You know what's in your book, but not everybody is going to be able to tell what's in your book from your cover photos or even from some descriptions or the back cover copy. How can you get more people to understand what it is that you have written about? First, ask yourself, who am I writing for? And build out that customer avatar. Include as much details in this as you possibly can. If you are following along in the 10 steps to publication journey, you can look all the way back to step one, which is figuring out your target market audience. This is a really, really key factor in understanding who it is that you're writing the book for, which is why we started with step one. But you're able to now refer back at step 10 to who it is that needs to be getting this book in their hands. So asking yourself these questions like, what applications are they showing up on a regular basis? And what time of day are they showing up? You can look those kinds of things up with your analytics based on the social media accounts that you would prefer to use. If you're marketing on your website, you can test your Google SEO. How many people have you been able to drive to your book or drive to your website? You'll be able to track that. If it's not the website, maybe it's Instagram or YouTube or TikTok. If that's where your client is, then that's maybe the platform that you want to be showing up consistently on. Now, also ask yourself the question, where can I authentically show up and where can I show up consistently? For some people, social media is a complete drag, and that is not where you're going to want to be. Maybe you don't want to be on Instagram. Maybe you don't want to make YouTube videos. What is the thing that is most authentic to you? If you do things that are not going to fit your model of your needs and the way that you can operate in the world, it's going to be really challenging to consistently show up in that manner because it's going to be going against your nature. There will be a channel or a place that makes the most sense to you. Maybe that's making short form videos. Maybe that's showing up on camera once a week and just reading from your book so that people are starting to see what it is that you have to offer the community and see what it is that you can teach other people with. That's going to be very unique. And when you create a marketing strategy, it needs to be based on what you can deliver, what feels comfortable for you, and what you're going to be able to do consistently over a long period of time. For most authors, when they first publish their book, they'll see an increase of sales right at the beginning. But unless they're consistently talking about that book, they do see in sales over time. Where in your life can you show up in a public way? Maybe that's going and speaking and bringing copies of your book with you. Maybe it doesn't have to be on the online space at all. These are really great questions to ask yourself. Where can I show up consistently and authentically? Your actual book itself, and what ideas and concepts can be pulled from that in order to make actual content that would sell the book. If the goal is to get sales and get the book into more people's hands, then it is important to show how valuable your book is and where your book can show up in someone else's life. If it's entertainment based or an escape from reality for a little while, or maybe it's an educational book, or maybe it's teaching some sort of concept, or maybe it is a memoir where you're sharing pieces of your story. How can you take that information and show the community, show your readers or your future readers little bits and pieces of who you are and what value you have to offer? Telling people what's in your book and reading from your book will not deter people from buying it. It will help to encourage people to see this is what I need. This is the next step I needed to take. Even for entertainment purposes, when we're struggling and we need something to just get our mind off of the reality of the world, maybe that is the purpose too. And how can you take that information and just give little bits of it in content that people can understand? This is one way to start to get those little pieces that you could be sharing through social media or sharing through even your own personal network, person to person in a group setting. Maybe the point of writing your book was just so that you could get it out of your body and onto paper and that it would become real. But I'm guaranteeing you that if you took all of the time and all of the energy to put your thoughts into a book form, there are people who are waiting to read it. And the only way they're going to know that it's there is if you start telling as many people as you can, hey, I wrote a book, shout it from the rooftops. That's what marketing is all about. But you have to find the ways that you are passionate about it, not just the ways that the internet says, do these 30 days, do this chat GPT, do this 40 pieces of content in 30 seconds. What authentically speaks to you and will authentically speak to that avatar that you created at the very beginning of the series, or maybe you're working through now that you have finished your manuscript. Tell the world this is valuable and show us all that what you've done and what you've put your energy into is worth our time too. Thank you so much for joining us on this series. It has been such a fun journey for me getting to just explain each one of these 10 steps. And I want to thank you so much if you have joined me the whole way, if you've downloaded our PDF, and if you've supported our company. Thank you for being here. I cannot be more appreciative. And I do hope to see you on the next video. And I hope you have a great